tease you a little. I mean, a little in the point. Last week we talked about, some of you are here, so I'm going to kind of catch you up. Last week, or this series we just started last week, it's called Fresh Start. And last week we talked about how you take your dirty laundry, how you have to take off what's dirty every single week. Every single day, I mean. It's not a weekly thing, it's a daily thing. You take your dirty clothes off and you throw them on the floor. For either your mom to pick up, some of y'all throw them in a hamper basket. I asked last week how many of y'all have done laundry. I just want to see this again. How many of y'all have ever done laundry before in your entire life?
My mom's making me do it now.
Your mom's making you do it now. Good. Okay. If you know how to do laundry, then this series is going to make a whole lot of sense. If you haven't done laundry, you need to at least do it 1 week. It'll make a little more sense throughout. So last week I talked about bringing in your dirty laundry. That if it like it did at our house, if it lies around all over the floor and starts gathering up in places, it becomes a big mess. And it's more to deal with, and it's harder to deal with to a point where you can't even control it. So last week we brought in our dirty laundry. So this week we're going to move to the next thing. Once you take your dirty laundry, you have to put it in where? The washing machine. Yes, if I had this one working, it would be awesome. So we had some dirty laundry last week. We had gossip, which was a big one. We had hate, which I talked about that. I'm going to talk a little more about that some more tonight. And the biggest one that covers everything is sin. Sin fuels everything in there. We had a few more. We're throwing them all in there this week. Now, once you throw them in there, you can't just leave them. I mean, there's nothing going to happen. Yeah, sure, you've taken your dirty laundry in, you brought it to the laundry room, you put it in the washing machine. The same way you take your sin and you take the stuff going in your life and you bring it to God. How he says to the Bible, just bring everything to me, take to me. And in the verse that's on these shirts, which are for sale, by the way, from a little commercial, $6 if you want a shirt. I thought they were cool. Psalms 51, it says, wash me clean, wash me in your laundry, make me white as snow. Didn't think the Bible would talk about laundry, but it actually mentions it a couple more times. I look at it, and it has to do with cleaning and making yourself, getting rid of the impurities, getting rid of the stuff. Dirty laundry. You have to put it into the washing machine. Well, like I said, it can't just sit there. So what you have to do is you have to set it to the first cycle. The first cycle is the wash cycle. The wash cycle does pretty much what it says. It does what? It washes your clothes. That's pretty much what it does. But just the wash cycle alone can't do it. And we're going to talk about that in a couple of seconds. That the washing machine has to have some other additives. You got to have soap. You got to have your fabric softener. So I'm going to get into that in a couple of seconds. But in the Old Testament, I'm going to take a jump here, talking about bringing your dirty laundry in. When you brought your dirty laundry to God, when you brought these things to God, when you brought the stuff that was lying around in your life to God in the Old Testament, it wasn't like today where you can ask God for forgiveness. He forgives you that instant. It wasn't like you could take and throw in the washing machine and come out clean on the other side. No, they actually had to take their clothes, they had to take their dirty laundry and their stuff on their life, they had to put it onto an animal that was perfect, white as snow. Sheep. There were goats, bulls. Had to bring them all into there. Listen, they had to bring it all into the altar. They had to sacrifice it and literally throw it away. In order for God to take the sin away from them, in order for God to take that dirty laundry, and they didn't get it back. It was like sending it off and never seeing it again. Now, I know some of y'all like clothes. I know some of y'all like Hollister, some of y'all like Abercrombie, some of y'all like American Eagle, some of you like Aeropostale, however you want to pronounce it. That's what used to be one of my favorite stores. I know you like stuff. How would it feel, though, if you had to, every single week, take your clothes off and throw them in the garbage and never see them again? And you had to spend all your money on new clothes every single week, and it was taxing. It's hard to do that. There's no way you could, if you had to throw your clothes away, you would be shopping for rags, because you can't afford to keep doing that. You can't afford to keep doing that. But that's what the old people in the Old Testament had to do. They had to bring their dirty stuff in, and every single week had to put on new stuff. Every single week it had to go like that. They couldn't just take and put it in the washing machine and ask God to forgive them of it. They had to go through this. They can only be forgiven of their sins if they sacrificed something, they gave something up. You can only get newer clothes, or you have to go buy new clothes. The way you get new clothes, you have to throw away the old ones, right? But if you're forced to throw them away every single week, it becomes more and more dirty. They got little help from God because, now, like I said, you wake up in the morning and you say, God, forgive me of my sins. And He works it out. Then they couldn't do that. So, what happened? What happened where we could bring our dirty laundry in and put it into a wash cycle? The main event, the main thing that happened, the one thing that split time in two was Jesus. So Jesus comes into the picture, right? And He has His disciples, and He does His ministry, and He dies on a cross. Well, after He dies on the cross, He's the ultimate sacrifice. He's the sacrifice for God. He's the last time, He made sure it was the last time anybody would bring in their dirty laundry and not be able to get anything back. It's the last time they could take their sins and throw them at God, and God not have to constantly have to sacrifice what they had. He took His body and died. Now, I'm getting this kind of quick because most of y'all have heard this story, some of y'all haven't, but I'm getting this quick to kind of get to the point of this. When Jesus died, two things happened. And I looked it up in the Bible, and when I was going through my research and looking it up, and it was interesting to find out that two things existed after this that didn't exist before. Two things existed, and two things were common, and you could have them. Two things came out. It was called grace and mercy. Four on the floor, guys.